Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody around the world. I will make this video. It's about the ranking of all the James Bond movies. Well, I will tell you straight away, I don't like the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig in general. Daniel Craig, it's a terrific actor, I don't deny that, but as James Bond, I don't like him. I think he doesn't fit at all. That's my opinion. I know there are a lot of people who like him, but I don't. And I will tell you that the last one is that one I dislike most of all the James Bonds with Daniel Craig. After I will, and actually in the last one, maybe I saw the 30 minutes of the film and after I slept because it doesn't interest me at all. And I think in this James Bond, Daniel Craig was very old because I remember when Roger Moore was old, about his 50s, late 50s, and he was criticized for it. And in this James Bond, the last one, you can see that Daniel Craig is old. He's not as young when he started the franchise. After, I will say that one I like less. It's Spectre, and I think people who doesn't like too much at all. I don't have anything else to say, and that's the same. Maybe I saw the first half of the movie and I slept too. After, I will say Casino Royale. Casino Royale, there are some sense interesting. Maybe at the beginning when he was struggling with the bad guy at the top of the crane. But and Eva Green is a fantastic James Bond girl, but nothing else to say about. After, I will say Skyfall. Skyfall. It's not too bad, but it's like a police movie. It's not a spy movie. It's far away from the standard of James Bond. But yes, it's interesting, but nothing else. It's not James Bond movie for me. It's like a police movie with an inquiry. And you will be surprised, and that one I prefer. I dislike less than the others with Daniel Craig is Quantum of Solace, because the press sequence is okay. I like the car chase. It's more close than the James Bond movie I saw. It's close to the standards of James Bond movie with more action, and I like too the bad guy. Matthew Amalric is fantastic, and I like the way he's using his eyes. He's very scary. He's like that. Scary. The next one in my list, The Man with the Golden Gun. Well, I like Roger Moore as James Bond. He was James Bond of my childhood. He made the movies fresher with his sense of humor, and he's smart. I like Roger Moore, but this James Bond movie, it is that one I dislike with Roger Moore. The scenario is a little strange, and the bad guy is okay. It's Christopher Lee. It's charismatic Christopher Lee. He's okay as well, but the small guy, knick-knack, there's no sense. The pictures are okay too. It was located, I think, in Thailand or Burma. But There's no sense in this movie. That's why I don't like it. There's an interesting James Bond girl. It's Maud Adams. Then we will find again in Octopussy Brick Eklund, the parody of a fair-haired girl, nothing in the brain. I don't understand why she is playing in this movie. My favorite actor as James Bond is Sir Sean Connery. He was incredible in the role, the best of all. But there's one I don't like too much, and I don't know why he's coming back for it. It was Diamonds Are Forever. The pre-sequence is okay. I like it's starting very fast and strong, hard with the scene with Ernst Travo Blofeld. There's the spirit of revenge because it was the following of on Her Majesty's Secret Service. When you see the press sequence after, there's no lot of things to pick up in this movie. Maybe there's a scene with in the lift when he was fighting with the guy when he changed his passport and want to take the identity of the other guy because he didn't want to be recognized. But I don't understand the scene when he is buried. It's a bit old. It was very, very strange. There's a scene as well with special engines. Well, very, very strange. But it was cool to see Sean Connery again. But it's far away. It's worse James Bond movie. Live and Let Die. It was first James Bond movie with Roger Moore. So we were looking forward to seeing what he can do as James Bond. It's a correct movie, especially the song by Paul McCartney and the Wigs is probably one of the best songs of James Bond. There are some action scenes like the boat chase in Louisiana. We saw as well Felix Leiter, played by David Edison, who will come back as the same character later in one Timothy Dalton movie. It's not the best of Roger Moore, but for first one, it's okay. After there are some scenes which are ridiculous, like the scene with Sergeant Pepper. Is annoying, this character, and we'll find him again in the man with the golden gun, and it was worse. He didn't bring anything to the movie. But about the James Bond girls was actually the first black Bond girl, and Jean Seymour is a pretty James Bond girl. But the other bad guys, Yaphet Kotto is a good actor, but it wasn't very interesting as the bad guy. Brosnan is probably the second actor I prefer as James Bond after Sean Connery. And that one I don't like too much is the last one. We can see this scene with Alberry, who bathed and she was very sexy, like Ursula Andress was in Doctor No. But The pre-sequence is intense, a bit long, more there's a suspense, but after it's very boring, and the scene with the ice at the end of the movie, it was completely silly. Even Pierce Brosnan himself recognized it years after. There's another one with Pierce Brosnan. It's not one of my favorites. It was the movie with Sophie Marceau. The beginning is terrible. It's very entertaining. It's maybe one of the best press sequence of James Bond movies. So it's a good part of the movie. The boat chase on the River Thames. Yes, it was very interesting scene. The character, especially of Denise Richards. Yes, she's a doll, but what else? Probably the most sexy scientist in the world. And Sophie Marceau was the bad James Bond girl. She was not in. She was too nice to be the bad woman. And about Renard, we don't see him a lot. I think he should have been more developed in this role, and that's a pity. It was not a memorable bad guy in James Bond. Let's talk about For Your Eyes only. The sequence is okay. We see James Bond. He was in a very bad position. We can see him in front of the grave of his wife. But in this one, Roger Moore, he began to be old. Carol Bouquet is a good James Bond girl, and I like when a James Bond girl is not like a parody. She's here for revenge. She saved as well the life of James Bond, so it's interesting in that. But about the bad guys, the henchman, the blonde and tall guy, very strong, athletic, is interesting. He should have been principal bad guy, but he wasn't. It was just a henchman, but good henchman. But about the principal bad guy in the James Bond, Christatos, what can we think about him? You can fear this guy. You can fear this guy. He's not credible in the role of the bad guy. Little girl, teenage. Oh damn! I don't know why she's in the movie. There's no interest at all. No interest. Well, Moonraker. It's a particular movie. Moonraker, the first half of the movie is fantastic. The scene which is very interesting is the scene with the pilot when he was stalling his parachute, and of course the pilot was dying with a big shout. We can find in most of James Bond movies big comic. And of course Jaws. Jaws. It was a fantastic henchman, double meter, tall guy with iron jaws. That's why he was called Jaws. And everything is okay during the first half. There's a scene in Venice. It's terrible with the boaches, funny, and the bad guy is okay, Michael Lansdale, as well as henchman Shah. I think, especially when the girl who tried to help James Bond is dying for that. And in Rio too. But after that, second half of the movie is ridiculous. If there wasn't the first half, the movie was completely rubbish.